there's no work. So everybody's like, when do we go back to work?
When the coronavirus crisis hit the world, me and everyone that works in theater went jobless. And I had 2 shows being canceled in 1 week. I was doing a chorus line with Teatro del Soho, Antonio Banderas. In Barcelona. We just got to the theater one day and they were like, we're so sorry, but we're gonna have to close for 2 weeks. And they were like, okay. And then we got there on the next day and they were like, actually, from today onwards, the show is canceled and we don't know when we will be returning. I was lucky enough that I had another job booked for a bit, starting on the following Monday. So I had a job to come back to, and I went back to England, and I got to Manchester. I was doing West Side Story, the Royal Exchange, and 2 days after the start of rehearsals, we also got canceled. I was supposed to work until the end of the year. I was supposed to be at work until January 2021. A chorus line was going to Broadway, and so the future was bright, and all of a sudden it was like gone. But being in lockdown really served me. Why am I going to spend my time being angry with something that I don't have control over? On my search for all this growth, I came across Stoicism, and I came across a philosopher called Marcus Aurelius. He was living through a pandemic. He was living in the time of a plague. And he believed that you could always look at the positive side of things and you could find beauty and virtue in everything that you do. And he had some teachings that I think are really useful for us today. And I want to share some of those thoughts with you. Find beauty in chaos. Not much is needed for the simple life. I spoke with Lainie. Lainie is an actor. She lives in New York. She works around Broadway, off-Broadway, cruise ships. She does teaching at the Broadway Dance Center. And I had an hour chat with her. You can find the full chat in the description below.
Yeah, well, they're all talking. Everyone's talking, particularly, the artists, because everyone's concerned about when do we go back, when do we work again. It is absolutely true that everyone, all 51,000 members of Actors Equity are unemployed. Everyone is unemployed. There are no jobs. Right. I do feel sorry for the graduating seniors. I mean, can you imagine being in a BFA musical theater program and this is your year that you graduate, and then your senior showcase in New York is canceled, and you're like,
Living the simple life. Life can be a bitch. We have our perspectives, we spend loads of money studying, training, and all of a sudden everything is poof.
We have rehearsal spaces that Broadway shows rent out, like Pearl Studios or Ripley, where you have auditions, rehearsals, and all kinds of stuff. Those have lost all their business, obviously. One of the ones that I used to rent from all the time, it's been here 30 years, is called Shetler Studios. They closed after 30 years. The CEO put out a notice saying, I'm so sorry, I have to close down, And so that was one of the first of a trend that I think we're going to start to see that. Not every business will be able to come back and survive. And I think that's true with the regional theaters and dinner theaters and small theaters. Some will be able to come back and some won't.
And that is hard to cope with. But in the end of the day, if you have clean water, if you have food, the sun goes out. In the beginning of the day, the sun comes up. That's already beautiful. And you can still appreciate the world. You can still go for a walk and find beauty in the sky, find beauty in the birds passing. That's teaching one. Amor fati. So Marcus Aurelius used to tell this story about a man that put a rock on a path. This rock was on the way of everyone. It wouldn't let people pass. And the first person got there and cursed. The second person got there. And that kept on happening until a man was like, okay, I'm gonna move it. So he got a piece of wood and he forced it out of its way, and when it rolled, there was a bag of gold coins with a note that said, never forget that inside every obstacle there is a chance to improve your condition.
It has been amazing to me because, like, Fern, I never, ever thought that it would be possible to teach a dance class on a computer. Like, and it's not really ideal still. I mean, I miss people and interact. That's what class is all about. Yeah. But, you know, and Nelson Mandela said, you know, it always seems impossible until it's done.
The obstacle in your path is the path.
Aristotle, who said, where your talents and the needs of the world cross lies your calling.
Marcus Aurelius believed that life is a fire, and everything you give to life, it consumes for its own benefit. Whatever life gives to you, you can choose to use it on your benefit, as long as you put on your glasses of stoicism and positivity, even if it's something as horrendous as the death of a beloved one. I lost my best friend 2 years ago. He was going a little bit mad on everything that he was doing in life, and he was really lost, and he hanged himself. And for more horrendous that is, it really taught me be closer to the people that are in my life, because they are important, because one day they're not going to be here.
The only thing I had was everything.
Coronavirus is the way. This virus, the way it's taking over the world, the way it's making us rethink things, the way it's making us rethink our life, it's not something that we should have to watch from the outside and wait for it to pass. It's something that we're living, and we're living through it, and it's part of us now. There's nothing that we can do about this. We have stopped, our lives have changed, we are in it, and we can't just watch it and be like, can we just go back to what we were? Because we're never gonna go back to what we were, because what we are is now. So yeah, what stands in the way is the way. So find a way in yourself to live through the crisis, to embrace the crisis, to say, I am part of this, and this is now part of my world. So instead of being, when is this gonna pass? How can you embrace this within your work? How can you use your creativity and your life energy to get the best out of this time? Because you can't unlive it.
Back when we were in New York was in such a crisis, when we needed PPE and the healthcare system was overwhelmed. I kind of regretted that I wasn't a healthcare worker. I was like, why am I not a nurse? You know, this is what the world needs. I can't even sew. Fern, I'm no good at sewing. I can't even make a mask. So I felt completely useless until I realized that, like, what my talents are is like the teaching and the dancing and the singing and the joy. And if I can provide an hour of taking people away from this, you know, all the bad stuff, and make them happy, then that's what I give to the world.
The only way out is through. Summon bonum. Reach for virtue. The only way of doing good is by doing good. And reaching for the best. Reaching for being the best version of yourself that you could be. So if you're having a downtime, use it.
If you recall, I mean, actually great shows came out of the Depression era. In the Broadway season, that was the time that it was just so prolific and lots of shows because people were just, they needed the entertainment. It was a necessary thing. Art is necessary, especially in times of crisis.
In a time like this, the most important thing we have is community. The most important thing we have is we have each other. If we're not counting on each other, we're counting on zero. So do your work, but don't do it for yourself. Be less selfish and more selfless. Do it for the hive. What is good for the hive is good for the bee. What's bad for the hive is bad for the bee. If we all take a little time to help each other on this crisis, life's gonna be a piece of cake for everyone, because when you put good in the world, you receive good from the world, and it's just what it is. Share good things with the world, because when you take care of others, others will take care of you. And lastly, memento mori. Reflecting on your own mortality. On a time that a lot of people died, you are alive. And that's enough.
You know, It's going to be an amazing day, the day that the theaters are open again. That's going to be, I can't wait to see that day. But it will come back. Longer is stronger. Hang in there, everybody. Wear a mask and stay safe. Please wear a mask.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, as that helps me with the algorithm on YouTube. And please hit the subscribe button so you hear from me every time I post a new video, and that's gonna be very, very, very soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.